What's going on, guys? Your boy Mace. We're back with another video, and in today's video guys, me going over how you guys will be able to increase your combat class in Grand Cross. We're going to be going over how you actually want to be increasing it the most efficient way, and also going over every way you can actually increase it in Grand Cross. So let's hop into the video and let's discuss. Before we actually hop into the video, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to the 50,000 subscribers. If you guys haven't hit that sub button already, man, what are you guys doing? We literally just hit the 41,000 subscribers as of recording this video. 41,500 at this point. And yeah, man, definitely would appreciate all the support, guys. If you guys like content like this, then we're going to be posting more videos like this. So let's hop in and let's actually go over how you want to be increasing your CC. Alright guys, so for combat class, what actually is combat class? Let's go over exactly what it is first before we actually talk about ways to actually increase it. So combat class, guys, is going to be a rating where it takes pretty much all your stats and combines it into one stat that shows how strong a character's level is. So pretty much what it would be a cumulative stat that covers all your other stats in one to show how strong a character is overall. As you guys can see here from my Lost Vein Meliodas, you guys can see that he has 74,961,000 combat class, and that is because of all these stats combined right here, and all of them together actually do not necessarily add up to that number, but they do correlate to that stat itself. So pretty much the higher the stat of the character, the better the gear, the better the level, everything like that will come into play when discussing combat class. Now that we know exactly what combat class is, guys, how are we going to be able to increase combat class? Well, there are many ways in the game that actually do increase combat class. The first way that I'm going to be discussing in this video, guys, is going to be gearing your character. Now, gearing your character is going to be very simple. If you're going for combat class, you always want to go with a HP defense set. So 4 set HP, 2 set defense, which is going to give you 20% HP and 20% defense respectively. The reason why this is the best gear set, guys, is because HP, in terms of the amount of CC it gives the most amount of CC versus the other stats in the game. When looking at a character and going for their best CC gear set, it's always going to be HP defense because HP correlates to more combat class overall. In terms of the order for combat class, guys, it's going to start with HP, and then it's going to be attack and then defense. So all three of those stats, and that in that order specifically, is how you're going to be getting the most amount of combat class. So in this gear set that I have here for Meliodas, we actually do have HP percent rolls on the substats as well, just like how we're going for the HP on the base stat. And then for the actual middle rolls and for the top rolls as well, we're still going for the basic stat rolls themselves. Now, even though defense is the lowest stat for CC, guys, it is still more CC than these substats. So all substats here that you guys will see are going to be less combat class than the actual basic stats themselves. And as I mentioned, where it's HP, attack, then defense, the rest of the substats are always less CC than any of the basic stats at all. So you always want to go with basic stats when building out gear for a character. So again, you know, that's why we went with defense on the middle, and then on the top pieces we are going for the attack substats as well, and that's going to be the first place that I would actually go over when making gear for a character and increasing your combat class. Alright guys, the next way you're going to be able to actually increase your character's combat class is going to be through limit breaks. So every character is going to be able to be leveled up to level 100 in the game. At least so far that's the cap in Grand Cross right now, and they have also another thing in the game as well called True Awakening, which will only give your character an extra 1000 combat class and 10% damage resistance at this very moment. Now, before actually getting True Awakening, guys, there are characters that will need to be regular awakened, and also they will need to be super awakened. So pretty much it's going to be these yellow stars. The yellow stars are going to be obtained by using full awakening tokens and or just general awakening materials that you'll get from farming boss battle. Now, for actually super awakening a character, it's going to need super awakened coins, or it's also going to need gold or SSR coins to actually get that character super awakening, which is going to be a max of 6-star super awakening, which will increase your character's you know, pretty much their base stats and substats. You guys can see here, if we actually super awaken Fraudron here, we actually would gain an extra 800 attack, 1300 defense, we would actually get 8% critical damage, and then what is that, 13,000 HP. So obviously that's going to be a way to increase combat class because it's going to be giving you a bunch of substats and also the basic stats, which help towards increasing combat class. As we mentioned before, that HP, attack, and defense in that order is going to increase the most amount of CC, and as you guys can see, through super awakening you will be able to gain that. Again, guys, I mentioned that limit break was a thing, so limit breaking your character is going to be very important because when you get a character up, that means you'll be able to level them up to level 100, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. So limit breaking a character allows them to go to a new level cap, and so by leveling up a character, all their stats are going to be increasing. So you're going to be increasing their attack, their defense, their HP. I don't think their substats get changed. I think it's mainly just the basic stats, but if you are increasing a character's combat class, that is going to be a way to do it, guys, and it's going to be a way to increase their CC. So as an example, I actually will take one of my characters here and actually will level them up to level 100 here. So let's actually take, for example, let's just do Mai, right? So we have Mai right here. Now if I actually want to get her to level 100, I'm going to need to get some UR pendants, so I'm going to exchange for 2 UR pendants real quick, and I'll show you guys that we actually do gain combat class when actually getting a character to level 100. And it's not going to be necessarily the limit break itself that increases the combat class. It's going to be the enhancing of the character that actually gets them to level 100. So let's actually scroll down here all the way back down to Mai, and we're actually going to level her up to level 100 so that we actually do gain a combat class increase. So you guys will see here we are at 46,135 for the combat class. Now if we limit break her and increase her max limit break to be level 100, if we actually look at her stats right here, it's not going to increase the CC, but when we start leveling her up and we actually increase the amount of stats right here, this is the amount of stats we actually increase. We get 400 attack, we get 372 defense, and then 7,000 HP, which means our CC actually goes up by another 2,000 right there, guys. So that is going to be one of the ways they actually do want to increase combat class. Alright guys, now another way you can increase combat class in Grand Cross is going to be by getting cosmetics for the character. So if you guys don't know, when you actually go to the closet section of every character in the game, they are actually going to have a bunch of costumes that you can actually run here, and each costume is going to give a certain stat. So the outfit themselves are going to give defense based stats, so you're going to get the defense main, and then you're also going to get substats for defense. Now the weapons are going to be giving attack and then also giving the attack substats, and then the cosmetic piece right here, the headpiece, are actually going to be giving the HP stats and then also the HP substats as well. So when you guys are going for combat class, the most important cosmetics that you guys can run are going to be your HP pieces, because they're going to be giving you the most amount, considering they do start with HP base as their, you know, their base increase. You are going to be getting the substats alongside that as well, guys, but remember that every piece of costume that you actually run on your character will always have the base stat be attack, defense, or HP, depending on the one that you're going for. Now if you wanted to increase the character's CC the most amount, you would always prioritize the HP pieces on all your characters as much as possible. So if you're deciding which one to level up first, you always want to level up the head pieces, because they're going to give the most amount of HP, which in turn gives the most amount of combat class. But if you guys are going for a character where you just want to increase their damage or their tankiness specifically, then I would actually level up their weapons and then also their outfits as well. But that's going to be a way to actually increase combat class as well, guys, and it's going to be a way that you can do it through the costumes that you have for your characters. Now another thing that's on the costume tab, guys, is going to be the holy relic section, and holy relics actually do gain combat class for your character as well, because they give you base stats for the actual character. As you guys can see right here, for my King the Fairy King, we actually do gain 250 attack, 200 defense, and 2,950 HP, which is going to correlate to a good amount of CC for my my blue skinny king right here. And so when actually equipping this holy relic, this is going to increase his combat class as well, because if we actually cancel the registration here, guys, and then check his combat class versus when we have it, so 64,745, but the moment we put the holy relic on and we registered the stats, our combat class is actually going to go up to the 66,000 right there. So that's going to be another way where you can actually increase your combat class through another cosmetic section. Alright guys, now another way you can increase your character's combat class is actually going to be by feeding duplicates of the character. Every time you get a dupe on a character, when you actually do feed the dupes, guys, if you're feeding dupes on a character, guys, feeding dupes will actually give you 400 combat class per dupe that you actually feed for the character. That's going to be a very substantial increase, especially going from 1 out of 6 to 6 out of 6, and that's why a lot of people, when in PvP, if they have high dupe characters, will just out CC you naturally, because they have the dupes on their characters to get that extra 2,000 combat class on each of them. So obviously dupes are going to be very, very important, and they do obviously get you up to 2,000 CC increase, which is going to be very big for your characters. And another thing that actually does come into play, guys, is getting your uniques of the character as well. So every character will gain a combat class increase the moment you unlock their passive as well. I don't remember the exact amount of combat class you get. I think it's around 200 to maybe like 500 combat class, but I know you do gain combat class for every character that has their unique unlock. So you want to make sure that you go through your entire box, box and make sure that every character has their unique unlocked when going for their combat class. Alright guys, now another way you can actually increase your character's CC is going to be when you're actually in a fight. Now if we go to PvP here and we actually go to the geared PvP section, I'm actually going to show you guys another way that will technically increase your character's CC in the actual fight. Now remember that when running a character in PvP, right, their stats are always going to show as their base combat class. So my Meliodas here is 70,593, but when we're actually in the geared PvP section and I remove all my other characters, Meliodas is not going to be 70,000 CC, guys. He's going to be 91,000. And the reason why that is because we have Mael Link right here, which is going to be a character you can run as a Link. So just in general, any character you run as a Link is going to give sub stats and also in turn give you more CC on your character. And the higher the dupe for your actual Link will give you more combat class as well. If we actually look at a character right here, if we go to a 6 out of 6 character, it's actually going to show you that increases the hero's basic stats by 10%, which is going to be 1% per ultimate move level up to the 6 out of 6, which means you get the 10% total because it actually does scale up the higher the dupe. So because we're getting 900 attack, 700 defense, and then 14,000 HP if we actually equip this Merlin right here, guys, we are going to get those extra actual base stats added onto Meliodas, which is going to increase his overall CC, which is why we're actually not 70,000 and actually an extra 20k CC higher than normal. And then another thing as well, guys, is going to be artifact card sets, where each artifact card actually has a certain amount of base stats towards them. So you guys can see here that this Diane card has 51 attack, 90 defense, and 425 HP right there. So if you guys wanted to go for the highest CC, you know, cards, you'd actually filter by combat class, and it's going to put all the cards right there that have highest CC. We actually go from 90,000 to the 91,000 as well. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers every way in Grand Cross where we're actually able to increase combat class. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you guys want to see me talk about how to increase your box CC by a ton, that's going to be a whole nother thing, guys. Obviously it does correlate to the stuff I explained in this video, but I can actually explain the best ways to go over box CC, and we'll do that in another video. So definitely make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see that video, and let me know in the comment section below if you're interested in that. Now with that out of the way, guys, that's going to be it, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.